And now, as we move to our last foreign speaker of the conference for day 2, I'd like to introduce Mr. Manuel Burnand. As you know, he is the Director of Environment and Development at Dreischberg Environment in Paris. There have been several references to France today, including aspirational ones to get there. So you're the French voice to tell us about the French cases and also the case of your experiences all over. So I hand over to Mr. Manuel Burnand. And just to tell you, after this we have a couple of talks more and then a beautiful music recital. So do enjoy the rest of the evening with us. Mr. Manuel Burnand.
Thank you for the floor. I would say welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I would say also welcome and good afternoon to brothers and sisters, because I feel very well in India. And I'm very happy to surrender for his kind invitation. It's not me. I don't know how we move to the slides.
Shave your beard.
Yes, but it doesn't work.
The slides. You didn't give any slides to anyone?
Yes, I sent.
Could we have Mr. Bernard's presentation, please? It was on a pen drive, I think.
I don't have it. Can I have your pen drive?
Yes.
Well, that's called years of experience and knowing how to tackle every situation, a backup plan, a plan B swinging into action. Mr. Surinder Borat-Pattabri was talking about how excellent the volunteers are. And you can see they've got a relay race system. And before we can bat an eyelid, I'm sure the presentation would be on. But you have to bat very slowly. There is another French connection. Tomorrow, our guest of honor is the French ambassador, His Excellency François Richet. So a lot of French connects over the past few years. There's been a particular closening of relationships between the two countries. We've had a lot of French festivals here, be it dance or the French culture in general. I don't think there's another country which is doing more things in the current environment here in India than France, be it art exhibitions, dance performances, absolutely unique platforms of getting together. So, as a people, we are finding
I think it's
lots more in common. And here is the presentation.
I think it's good. Thank you. So, my presentation is around circular economy, focused in the French experience. But I will try to expand the subject to spiritual views at the end. So, first I will start by the French definition. Also an analysis of the current situation. And you know, French are very good to make analysis. So this is made by the French agency regarding environment. They have also analyzed the weakness, opportunity, threats. I will try to give you 2 examples to make the question more comprehensive and give just information about the new law we have in this summer regarding the energetic transition. And so I will conclude by spiritual views. So this is the definition of the circular economy. As you can read, the economic system of exchange and production to all stages of the life to products. It includes goods and service aimed to increase the efficiency of the use of resources and reduce the impact on the environment. So quite a traditional definition. Then we have gone into the detail, so I won't detail in that slide, but you have seen from the extractions of the materials, different kinds, transformation with so the red arrows are I would say the bad effect on the cycle. So transformation and manufacturing about the mixed waste we can have. which is more and more complex because you know that if you see the Mendeleev table, so you know there are about 100 elements. About 30 years ago, we tried to use 5 to 10 elements. Now, the new products coming on the market contain till 40 elements. That means that the recycling question will be more and more difficult in the coming years. Of course, we have the use, then the collection of the waste, the preparation. We know in many recycling streams we have dismantling, shredding, and it's not easy because when we speak about recycling, we speak about sorting, and sorting is not completely 100% efficient. And then during the recycling process itself, we may lose material. We can degrade, in certain cases, the status of the material. So it has been analyzed 3 areas for action. What we call waste management, which is quite clear and focused on recycling. Then the offer of the market players. That means who will put on the market sustainable supply, the question of eco-design. And that's one of the problems we have today, that the companies are put on the market different goods and services to satisfy the desire of the humankind, but they are not necessarily designed for recycling. Then you have the question of the local ecological industry, because you know that in many kind of circuits you have products coming from around the planets. We have the situation in France, which is quite crazy regarding the foods. You have orange coming from Spain, you have eggs coming Spain, France to Spain. A lot of trucks are going on the road. It gives a lot of pollution. So the question of the local point is very, very important and is discussed at this moment, but it's not easy. What we call the economics of functionality, that means that we try, the intention is to move to use our service, so not necessary to have the property of the good, but simply only the question of the use. And then there is the behavior of the consumer. That means the consumer will need to want to purchase something better design, and after the question of the duration of the products. So at this time, some weakness are identified, lack of cooperation between the leagues, because many kind of industry, many kind of public authorities are concerned, and they are trying, they are learning to work together, but it's not very efficient, not so much efficient at this moment. We have the problem of the low cost of setting storage facilities, and that means that in many cases it's more easy to put in disposal than to set up recycling schemes. We have the cost in labor in Europe. The image also of some recycled materials, when you go to the car industry and you make the promotion of recycled plastics, they are not so happy with that. Deficiencies in sorting, as I said before, it is a point to be improved. The illegal channels, also, we have a lot of illegal operators remaining, and a lack of domestic suppliers' equipment. That's the case problem we have in France. Of course, there are opportunities to increase, and it's mainly driven by the regulation. We have different plants under capacity, and the threats we have: foreign competition for downstream industry. A typical point is the question of China. You know, China is delivering to Europe a lot of goods. They have containers, and they have to take back those containers, or the interest is to put waste inside, so the waste go back to China. And so that means that the recycling industry in France is losing part of the activity. And the question of the status of waste, which is also in debate, what are the criteria to make something that is not either waste become a non-waste. Okay, so of element of perspectives, I won't go in details, but the idea is to say when you speak about recycling, you have to go stream after streams and to look at what is possible, what is achievable. I will take only one example, the question of glass. You know the glass from the televisions and screen and so on. We had circles, and now we don't know what to do with this glass. That means that it's not enough to have a quantity of waste. You have to find something to do with. Then I would say breaks in technologies, because probably there is a question of innovation, and in the future there will be a lot of things to improve the technologies. Changes in the structure, that was a positive point. I would say it's a more collaborative research and developments. In the past, companies are working in their own. Now we have more collaborative program. I will give you two examples of design of an eco machine. It's a coffee machine, and the suppliers has taken the risk to put on the market something very ecological with injection molds product in France, not in China. Start and stop like in the new car. You can rent. That means you are not obliged to buy the machines. The using parts are clipped. The machine is scheduled to be dismantled, and it's a very, very innovation. A simple design that can be replaced if you want to change the exterior side of your machine, and a real end-of-life program. That means that they have really imagined the end of life of the products. So with a longer duration for the products, but the price very high. That's the problem at this moment. It's still 3 times more expensive than, I would say, a China machine. But that on the market, I would say it's an experience. Other examples are producing fuel from waste. The cement industry is needing a lot of energy, so a lot of programs are implemented in France to use the cement. There are countries like Germany that are much more invested in that area. Also, the connection of the household incineration plant to heating network. In the past, the idea was today, okay, we want to destroy the waste, so incinerator, and now we move to how to use the energy recovered through the incineration. And I will say also 2 kinds of industry, the steel industry and the glass industry, that are thinking how to use waste. That means not only coal or carbon, but can they use plastics, for example, or gases mainly from waste, coming from waste for their process. And now only some views about the new law, so it's very recent law. Only to give you what kind of example can be taken by a country, that the reduction of the waste. One very interesting is to run experiment of develop device setup for certain products and packaging. That was the case in the past. You know, the bottle of milk in the English. You have the bottle of milk. You take it back, but now the glass is broken, so we lose a lot of energy. But you have also to consider the logistics. In certain cases, it could be more interesting on an economical point of view to break the glass and to collect them than to make set-up device. So it is to be put on the market maybe again. The recovery of the waste of the construction sector. Now we start to demolish a lot of buildings, so there will be a lot of waste coming on the market. Reduce, of course, the storage, increase the energy recovery, some of the non-recyclable waste. Adding the proximity principle in environmental code, this is a key point. And at this moment, you know that it's a mood to have region, and the new orientation are to put the orientation on the different regions. That means that the money will be at the region, not only at the national scale, and to work more closely with the local actors. And of course, maybe you heard about the eco-organisms. The simple principle is simple. When you buy a machine, there is an added tax, and this tax is used to make the collection and the recycling. Well, now I would like to finish by 2 slides regarding, I would say, spiritual views. Because when we speak about all those questions of circular economy, recycling, etc., it is, of course, in close connection to the Earth. Of course, who are we? We are composed of a soul, which comes from different regions, and a body. And this body, of course, is connected to the Mother Earth, and it's fed daily by her. That means that our living on the Earth is directly connected to Mother Earth. And my feeling is that humanity is probably invited to relearn cooperation with Mother Earth. I would say relearn because we know that a lot of ancient civilization used to are in communion with the Earth, and we have lost that completely in the Occident. So maybe we have to relearn that point. It is very important if we want to establish something eco-friendly. I would say that the situation in Europe, in the United States are making the experiments of the limits of the system we have built at the moment. I would say by the lawman and fear, but it's an opinion, but it's clear that we are at the end of one system, so we have to move to the future. And I will conclude that today it's time to elaborate new model of life, sustainable for more than 10 million people. And I think that those models could be created with the help of the meditation and the cooperation in Mother Earth and advanced civilization that are living inside her. And of course, those the economical and social models are essential for tomorrow. So that's my conclusion, and thank you for listening to me.